Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. I hope you are well. I hope the sound is working. Amy, let me know if the sound is working. It's Sunday, June 30th, very last day of June. Tomorrow is July 1st. Last week, at the end of the question series, people were asking, when I do where it's like just general information about like general happenings, whatever. Somebody asked about how I felt the debate would go. And I said, and I'll post a picture in the community with the transcript of it, but I basically said that I felt like Biden was going to like not do well, that it wasn't going to be a good night for either of them, but that Biden was going to like not be with it. Hi, Crystal. So I was right. I'm just tooting my own horn. So, Amy, if you want to go ahead and ask your questions, feel free. I'm feeling the urge to scribble while I don't know why today. Not like, just like Tyler Henry style scribbling. I usually write when I'm doing my readings anyway. Like I write down notes. I'm just feeling my private readings. I'm feeling called to do that. Hi. Oh, okay. So wait, are Amy donated for 2? Amy, is that for Crystal as well? Or I'm assuming she knows you if you said hi. About Grace. Is that your daughter? Sorry, I got do you hear that noise? I got a screen protector that makes it feel like paper when you're writing because I can't stand the smooth. Um, oh, that's right. I'm sorry, brain fart. And is Crystal related to you? Taking one of your questions? I told you that's called psychic amnesia. No. Okay. Crystal, who's donating for you? Oh, okay. I got yours. Okay, Crystal. Okay. Okay, got it. All right. So let me just update that so I don't forget. Okay. It was just because you wrote, "Hey, Amy." So I thought, oh, maybe that's who she's talking to. Okay. All right. So let's look at Grace. And you want advice about how to handle her or so I keep getting the like that I'm always going to be like, look at manifesting, look at manifesting, look at manifesting and mindset. And because everybody is you push out. So the feeling I get around what's going on right now is there's a lot of anxiety on your part because I feel like Grace is really quiet right now. It's funny because I feel like you're also very, very much listening to, so I can hear, like, I felt like my ears sort of open up a little bit and I feel like I'm hearing chatter and like as if I was hearing spirit talk to me, but I feel like you're actually getting mixed up with a lot of what do they call them, intrusive thoughts, like, oh, this doesn't work, like all around anxiety and things like that. Because I feel like not hearing a lot from Grace, like it's very quiet. Does that resonate when I say that to you? I just need this, like, I have it so bright in here, like, Jesus. Whew. My hair is so wet. Okay, I took a late shower. It's just wet hair. Yes, it does. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, Allie, I got your payment. I'm going to tell you like like I've been doing for myself, and really because I really genuinely feel like this is a lesson for you to learn to look at your belief systems around relationships. So I want you to write down, do you have a pen and paper? Get a pen and paper. I'll wait for you. Go get a pen and paper. There's a minute lag, so we're good on this. Get a pen and paper or write this down. I think this is really important. I want you to write down, and anybody else who is having a hard time in relationships, write this down. Write down first, what are your beliefs around relationships? What are your beliefs around partners in relationships? What are your beliefs around your role in a relationship? And what are your beliefs around what usually happens in a relationship? Or what are you afraid of happening? So what are your beliefs about relationships? What are your beliefs about the role of the other person in the relationship and how they show up? What are your beliefs around your role in a relationship and how you show up? And I'm like, I just keep noticing like my little elephant tracks. And what are your beliefs around like what happens to you in relationships? Because when you look at that, you're going to see that even if you can manifest a little bit, your fears might pop up if you're not working on self-concept work. So I worked with a client over the last week, a couple days ago, I don't remember. And we looked at this as part of the manifesting coaching. And it was like, oh, men always show up this way. And it was like, it was interesting because it was like, like men are cheaters, those were the things. I'm not saying that, but that was her belief system. Like, and men are unreliable and those things. And then she said, I was like, well, what's your role in a relationship? She's like, oh, to be a supporter and a caregiver and like encourage them to do the things that they want to do. I was like, that sounds like a mom. Like that relationship sounds like a parent-child relationship because I don't expect my kids to show up and be emotionally available. And so like, just, whatever. You've been doing this for months now. Yes, I struggle with intrusive thoughts. Okay. So listen to me when I say this to you. It's exhausting when you feel like I'm doing it for months and it's just not changing. But here's the thing. You don't clean your house once and go, well, it's done forever. I never have to do it again. Even when you kind of get it, like when you're like, okay, I'm in the routine, I really am feeling it, you still have to tidy. And sometimes you go and you're like, holy crap, the pipe burst over here. I have to take care of this. Like, it's not just it's forever done and I don't ever have to do anything again. It's the same thing with your mindset. People don't tell you that. They're not honest about it. And the truth is you're going to be constantly doing upkeep because that is just the nature of it, because you have 70,000 thoughts a day. And because there's going to be constant influencers or little triggers or things that come up. Now, the triggers will get less and less. I will tell you this. I had somebody come on one of my videos because they were reacting to another video. And I think it was the guy I made the video about, but that's neither here nor there. I think he created a fake account. And this person said, I know it was a male, first of all. It's always the horse-faced single ones because I don't wear rings, right? And I think a couple of years ago, I would have been very triggered by someone commenting on my personal appearance in such a way. Probably more than a couple of years ago. I've been doing this for a while. But really, I just looked at it. I was like, that's absolutely absurd. Like, that's like, why would you be so triggered and bothered by me saying, I don't think a relationship is going to work out. I don't have a good feeling about it. And I think that guy is the problem. Like, why so pressed? So my point to you is like, stuff is going to come up. Like, that's still something that happened to me. And I for 3 seconds, I was like, oh, that's not very nice. And then I was like, whatever. Like, it's kind of absurd, actually. So my point to you is like, there's going to be stuff that comes up. And when you're doing the work, the trick to learning like about manifesting is when the intrusive thoughts come up, you literally shut them down and you go, no, that's not true. The truth is, she really likes me. She's totally into me. Maybe she's just busy with some stuff. Like, she contacts me all the time, even if it's not happening. The truth is, you just start telling yourself the other story. So I was working on you guys know my daughter's autistic, and sometimes she'll get triggered, or she'll be a little dysregulated, and she's like, I'm not going to do that. And so literally I go, okay. And I walk away, and in my head, I'm like, no, the truth is she is going to do it. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. I don't care what's going on in the 3D. I used to allow her being dysregulated to really trigger me. And now I just look at it and I'm like, no, the truth is. Okay, so stop focusing on her being gone. Like, you're focusing on her being gone, and when you're focusing on what you don't have, that's what you keep bringing in. I know this sounds like magical thinking, but I'm telling you this stuff works. I'm telling you, I would not continually reinforce it to anybody if it did not work. Do I know that sometimes we come in and we're like, oh, I don't know, I don't trust in this. So the part that I'm reading is your energy is reading where you're at right now. Where you're at right now is I'm letting the intrusive thoughts take over. I'm letting all of this take over. And until you move past that, she can't come back in. Like, it'll be a back and forth. So what I'm reading is how you're picking up energetically on her personality. So you have to start reading, changing the energy. If you want her to be a part of your life, you have to start deciding, like, when you're techniques that we talk. Okay, first of all, I said this yesterday on a video. This is a great technique for neutralizing it. You have to decide if she's worth it. Because here's the thing, it really won't matter who you pick to want to be in a relationship with. This struggle will always come up until you shift the internal dialogue. The reason why I talk about manifesting a lot, the reason why I talk about mindset a lot, the reason why I talk about self-concept a lot is because in the thousands of readings I have done over the past 16 plus years, that has always been the issue. It is never that you're not good enough. It is never that that person, you're not worthy enough of this person's stuff. And if you don't face the stuff that you're dealing with, it will continue to show up. I don't need your date of birth. But I'm telling you, you can do the work even with mental health stuff. So it's literally just deciding at some point what follows I am is really important. And if everybody is you pushed out, then you get to decide. How do they show up? But that's where self-concept matters, because you're like, oh, you are valuable and worthy. You are deserving of having love. You are lovable. And you deserve to love yourself. The self-concept stuff is not like, oh, I'm just lying to myself. It's like, be fucking as nice to yourself as you would to a friend. And the majority of us, I don't do it anymore. But before I started doing this, I was fucking cruel to myself. I was awful to myself in my head. And nobody deserves to do that to themselves. That's what I'm telling you. And yes, that takes work, because it's this like old habit that's sometimes hard to break, just like any addiction. It becomes so like ingrained in just the daily subconscious routine. I don't even necessarily believe you need to let. So look, here's the thing. If our beliefs create our reality, right? If that's what it is, which I believe that's what it is, it's literally whatever belief system you want to hold. So like Neville Goddard teaches that if you think about the thing you want, imagine the thing that your desire or your wish as you go to sleep at night. So it embeds it in your subconscious. When you dream about it, that means that it's set, right? It's out there in the universe. But I was like walking in Target today, going to return some stuff and pick up a new brush. And I was like, oh, actually, I don't need it to embed it in a dream to know that it's mine. That's my new belief system. I don't need to have that experience. I don't need a sign, because it's just mine. I don't need the signs. I know this is mine. It's done. So if that makes you like, if that genuinely feels better to do that, hi Roxanne, good to see you. If that genuinely feels better to do that, then do those things. Like if you feel like if there's something in you, because I always say use whatever it is that you think it is that's going to be the least, have the least resistance for you. So a long time ago, I would have needed to be able to do it that way, because I hadn't seen enough results and I hadn't shifted my mindset enough to really see like, oh no, like literally, if I stick with this and I refuse to allow anything in my 3D to tell me any different than what it is I desire. When I started really like doubling and tripling down on, like with my last psychic development circle, I was like, I'm just going to decide this is full, it's done. And the minute any kind of thought came up that was contrary to that, I was like, no, absolutely not. The truth is, this is done. It's full. It sells out. And even I found myself like 2 days before the circle was supposed to start, I still had 2 spots available. And I was like, well, that would be okay. And then I was like, no, absolutely not. Because I remember there's this Neville Goddard story about him trying to get tickets, and he was like, well, I got third class. That's fine. And his friend was like, no, you're third class. Go back. Get out of here. So my point to you is like, practice over the next week, just doubling down. Like, instead of listening to those thoughts and allowing them to take you away, just literally shut them down. Like, literally just go, no, the truth is, Grace likes me. So think of those thoughts, those intrusive thoughts. Like, even when people say stuff outside of you, if you ever hear contradictory stuff, it's like, oh, those are just like intrusive thoughts. And they're not real. It does. Then if you feel like it's a bit much, then you don't have to. Do affirmations about yourself. I'm fucking lovable. I love myself. I am loved. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of being loved. I am valuable. Do the ones about yourself. Because ultimately, that's really where the energy needs to come in. People love me. People enjoy my company. Like, do self-centered affirmations. It's okay to center yourself. Keep doing it. Do it over and over and over and over again. And then when something happens and you feel like, oh, I feel like kind of garbage about that, be like, no, the truth is, I'm fucking valuable and worthy. I am good enough and I'm deserving. Because you would not, like, literally pump yourself up the way you would a friend. Without hesitation, without any reservation, you deserve to be your number one cheerleader. It's not that you don't have to ask. It is that I will always tell you that at this point, this is what I did with Devery too. And I knew it pissed her off. Like, believe me, I knew it pissed Devery off. I had Devery leave and come back and unsubscribe and resubscribe like a lot. And I adore her. But at some point, I am going to be hard-nosed about it and be like, this is a self-concept issue. This is not a psychic thing. And when they're coming in this way, they're like, love yourself. I took a shower today and I was like, I genuinely was like, I'm in love with myself. I love who I am. Does that mean I think I'm perfect? No. Does that mean I don't think anybody else is deserving and worthy or good or whatever? No. But I think it is really okay to genuinely fucking love who you are. It doesn't mean that you are without fault, but guess what? You aren't in love with somebody else and think they're totally perfect. You see their stuff. You see their shortcomings. It isn't that I'm not in reality with who I am, but I can like who I am. And I want that for everybody. I think everybody should love who they are. It doesn't mean that, again, it doesn't mean that you don't see the reality of who you are. We are taught, especially as women, that we aren't supposed to be arrogant or, that it's, there's another word for it. Synonym, help me out. That it's not okay for you to say those, like, just to speak that well of yourself. How dare you speak so highly of yourself? Why? Shouldn't everybody? I want my kids to speak highly of themselves. I want them to feel really good about themselves. My daughter, for a while, and then I was like, I kind of like to hear you say it back to me, by the way, because I would go, I love you. She's like, I love me too. And she's like, well, you said I should love myself. I go, you should, but at some point I'm going to stop saying it because I also like, I like the reciprocal. Like, I love you, you love me. Okay, so we'll look at a message. I'm going to look at her energy and where she's at, but I really think that it's, what's interesting with her is I feel like she's nursing an old injury, and I don't know exactly, or an old wound. So I have to say, I also think that the interaction with her, the most recent interaction with her, actually triggered something within her to have to start looking at herself. And then I just asked, like, it's like, she will be back. I do feel like you will have her manifest her back in, that's going to happen. And I actually feel like it's going to be sooner than you expect. I feel like when it happens, you're going to be like, oh my God. That's how I feel about it. And I know those aren't always the answers that you want when I really talk about that stuff. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm so annoyed. I just feel like it's raining. You're worth the shift and the push past. And I really believe that when people say, well, my mental health stuff, I only think that's a barrier if you allow it to be a barrier. And I'm only saying this, like, listen to me. The people who come to do this work, people like me, I did not come to this because I thought I was born perfect and I never suffered and I didn't go through anything. I started searching, first of all, spirituality, like when I was a little kid, but really seeking it out because I was looking for outside validation. I was looking for something, to tell me what I was experiencing was normal, but also to feel loved and accepted and enough. And it always, the whole idea of like, how does happiness come from within if you feel so empty and you're constantly looking for outside validation? But it comes in when you decide that the outside voices are not as important as your inner dialogue. That your inner dialogue 1000% trumps everything else. And when you start listening to your inner dialogue and you start realizing like you deserve to be your own best friend. Why? Because a spark of God exists within you as much as it does outside everybody else. Like, yes, I'm probably talking myself out of a job when I teach you this and telling you this. But that's how I feel about it. I feel like you deserve to love yourself. I went through a lot of stuff. I had a piss poor self-image, like absolutely the worst. So when I'm telling you to do this, it's not because I'm like, this is all the new agey crap that I've heard outside of me. It's because I've done the work. It's because I'm constantly doing the observation and evaluation, not only of myself, but of the things that show up outside of me and looking at it from a point of like, if this is how people are showing up, what is this reflecting about my inner dialogue and what can I heal from this? And not the stuff where like someone was like, if you notice something in somebody else, someone wrote this and I'm always like, ugh. Like, I don't even have time to explain to you about why you're wrong. But it's like, if you notice something in somebody else, it's because it's triggering something in you. I'm like, how short-sighted you are. But so I believe in you and I believe that you're capable of this work. It is work. It is a practice. It is a constant. A professional athlete does not stop practicing because they're a professional. They practice even more. So it should be a day in and day out practice of paying attention to how you speak to yourself, what your thoughts are about yourself. Hey, Bug, what's up? Nope. Did you finish taking your medicine that I gave you before I came down here? Well, it takes a little bit for it to work.
A little bit?
Yeah, it's only been about 20 minutes.
Yeah, Mom.
Uh-huh.
When are you done?
I don't know. I'm answering questions and then I'm going to be off.
Can I have a hug?
Yeah, but I don't want you on screen.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I love you. Go.
Okay.
All right.
Dates. When you're done, can I have a private moment?
Absolutely.
Maybe 2?
Yeah, maybe 2 private moments are fine.
2.
2. Okay. I love you, bud. A little one, okay? Because I don't know what you ate when I was gone earlier running errands. Love you. Okay. So I always pay attention to what I'm saying. Like, and then after, like, when I got the troll comments and things like that, I was like, well, is this triggering something in me? No, it's just that sometimes you're going to say things then they might cause people to respond a certain way. That's okay. Doesn't mean you have to buy into their story or their opinion. Like, why allow somebody else outside of you who doesn't know you, who's, whatever, to like speak that way of you, like affect you. Okay. Crystal, what was your question? I want to know what's the energy going on between Johnny and Gigi. I feel it a lot of arguments. Can you tell what will happen between now and the next couple of months? I think he may separate. Oh, it's my daughter. I have 3 girls. I get this feeling when I thought Johnny and Gigi, when I just felt really like almost like Johnny may be self-medicating. So I feel like kind of woozy, that woozy feeling of being a little buzzed or a little, it's okay. You didn't know she was. And when they're little, it's hard to tell with their voices, right? Excuse me. Do you know if Johnny has a little bit of maybe drinks a little too much, or he may be drinking now? I mean, I think there are definitely issues with them. Can I ask your relation to them? I don't see a separation like, but before he wasn't a drinker. I don't know. I just feel like okay. If he's not a drinker, then there's like I just felt very dizzy. He's your brother. Okay. I just felt very dizzy. So do you notice he use weed? Does he is there any way he'd have a blood sugar issue? Like I just felt very, very dizzy. It was the feeling to me of having an alcohol issue, but I'm happy to be wrong. Did she come from a very poor background? I'm not saying she is. I just feel like she didn't grow up with a lot of money is the feeling I get. In the past he did smoke weed. So maybe it's the weed I'm feeling. Like maybe just gummies or something. I just feel like they're both incredibly dysfunctional. I have to tell you that. I don't see they may be done with each other in like 5 months. But they have a lot of back and forth. So I feel like they would like break up and get back together and break up and get back together. But I got to tell you, I feel like he's never really had a super healthy relationship. Like he's very much a self-sabotager. She has a poor background. Yeah. Okay. I just get this feeling that there's almost a feeling of like being like a mama's boy, not like totally a mama's boy, but the feeling of like the boys are sort of held up at a higher standard in your family. Or like if they do bad things, it's like, well, you know how guys are. Whereas like there's like a lack of accountability. He is a mama's boy, yeah. So I feel like he he's a little dismissive of other people's feelings. So I feel like in that relationship, like, yeah, it's not healthy. I did say 5 months. I think maybe in 5 months. Oh, because you said she has 5 kids. I feel like maybe in 5 months they'll be done. But I also feel like he's not really going to pick them well, because he doesn't really see how he's the issue, like, or where he could do better. Why did I say 5 months? Because you asked me what will happen between now and the next couple of months. I think he may separate. And I said, I feel like he might separate in 5 months. So I want to say, like, oh, I mean, I just see a pattern for him of not so great relationships. Yeah, give or take December. But a lot of that has to do with his lack of, like, he has no ability to really self-reflect and look at how, like, what his part in things are, or how he could maybe communicate better. I heard, like, he sees him for who, like, yes and no, but she's got her own stuff, right? So it's not like she can be like, oh, he's so amazing. I feel like they just completely play off of each other all the time. And that's sort of like their story, like their lessons to learn. You know, when I talk about, like, it, like I said to Amy, like, it doesn't matter if you do it now in this relationship or in another, like, until you do the inner work, stuff keeps showing up in a really unhealthy way. I do feel like there's self-sabotage on his part due to a lot of self-shame, and like not allowing him to move past his story of who he was. And I feel like she has a lot of not being valuable and worthy of better treatment, and a lot of attachment issues, like fear of abandonment issues. And I think that people on social media show people what they want to show them. You know, people aren't going to be putting out, like, if somebody is putting out all their fights and toxic behavior, you know, it's like way worse behind, you know what I mean? Like, when you see a couple or something fighting in public, you know, those fights are like 85 times worse at home. So, like, if somebody can't be cordial in public, like when they're like no eyes are on them and they're just like, ah. So whatever they're putting on Facebook is because they want people to think things. I think he loves her to the capacity that he thinks he loves her. I don't know that. I mean, I don't want to like pick on your brother, but I feel like Johnny is not capable of fully loving anybody because he doesn't fully love himself. I'm not getting a feeling of it. I heard, when I did ask it, I just heard a mutual. Like, I don't feel like it's a, like, them being done or that. So like when you're like, oh, like, it's like when somebody asked me the other day on TikTok when I was doing some live readings, they were like, well, does my ex-husband love me? And I'm like, to the capacity that he can love somebody. Is it the love that you deserve? No, but he's not capable of it, you know? And I don't mind saying this here because it was on a public forum there, but she said, well, oh, he left her 22 years ago alone with 2 kids. Like, you know, some people do love you. It's just not the way you need or deserve to be loved. They're just not capable of it. I feel like, again, it's a mutual decision to be done. It feels like a blow up, but it's a mutual decision to be done. Allie, are you here? What's your question? You're very welcome, Crystal. What job are you applying for? I heard New York Presbyterian. You can't remember what job you're applying for? Oh, but it was the most important one. I'm just kidding. I don't mean to laugh at you. Look, I'm going to say this to you energetically. If you can't remember what job it is you're putting it, you're not putting the energy into it, the energetic energy into it, that like, this job is mine. I want it. It's mine. It's done. I'm going to do with you like I did with Amy, where I'm like, listen, this is where you need to like double and triple down on manifesting it. And like regardless of whatever is outside of you, be like, no, it's mine. I will tell you this. There is I feel like there's other openings there, so it's worth just reapplying. But I also feel like looking at New York Presbyterian would be important. Look, you don't know what kind of a job was it? As an aide? Is it as a receptionist, a clerk, or what? I mean, I forget what we call people who do that job. Where is this place at? Hang on, I just want to look something up. Because I'm hearing another place. Project assistant. I would look at New York Presbyterian, but also this is an interesting one that kind of came to me. Look up Elizabeth Seton Children's Center, or Children's, what is it called? Yeah, Children's Center. It's in Yonkers. Look that up and see if they have jobs. Look there and look at New York Presbyterian. And then when you send your application in, a couple days pass and you contact them and you say, hi, I was really excited to apply for this job. I'm wondering, and I put my resume in, I just want to make sure that you got it or that I submitted it the right way. I'm really excited about it. And let it go. And if they're like, oh, like if they seem like, just be like, oh, I'm not trying to bother you. I just was really excited about it. Too many people I watched this as a nurse too. And I was always like, even though I knew there was tons of nursing positions open and I knew every job I got, I was going to get hired for, because that was my belief system. And I swear to God, it worked. Because then I would listen to other nurses and they're like, oh, there's just not really like, and I'm like, what do you mean? I've never not had anybody reach out to me. So it literally feels like, adopt that belief system. They need me. They want me. I'm an amazing fit for them. Of course, they're going to contact me. Of course, they're going to hire me. It literally is like, just decide it. And I know that sounds absolutely delusional, but practice with something else and just decide it's going to happen, despite whatever it looks like on the outside. But my point is like, I always was like, well, did you follow up? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, why not? Like if I had a job opening for my business, which I don't, but if I had one, if I had 50 people apply and I was like kind of inundated or whatever, and I had one per person like wait a couple days and be like, hey, I was really excited about that. Do you think I wouldn't take a second look at them and be like, shit, this person's eager? They're not just waiting for stuff to happen. Like they want the job. They're taking the extra step. You're not bothering anybody by doing that. If you called every day, that's one thing. But if you wait a few days and you're like, I'm really excited about the job. I'm really, this one didn't get back to me until till months. So I assumed I didn't get it. The more you just don't get back to you. Stop waiting for them to get back to you and contact them. That's what I'm telling you. When I went to Texas Children's to work for them, I put in an application and it was still, I mean, this is like early 2000, like 2003, 2002, 2003. So they were just sort of starting their online stuff, but I called the woman in HR and I said, hey, I applied for this job. I put in the application online. I just want to make sure you got it. And I was like, and I'm going to be in town this weekend. So I don't know if you're interviewing. And she was like, oh, we didn't get it, but yeah, absolutely. We'll schedule you for an interview. Like it was literally just like that. So what I'm telling you is call them. Don't email. Call them and just say, I just want to make sure I hadn't heard anything. And I want to make sure that can you check and make sure you actually got my thing. I'm really interested in the job. I'm really excited. I know this is a great facility to work for. Like fucking if you want that job. I'm just saying it doesn't hurt. And if somebody doesn't want you to, like, if they're like, oh, you're annoying, like, that's not somewhere you want to work anyway. Yes, there is. But also, this is like, I'm telling you the same thing as I did with Amy. We just need to do I need to like schedule a Zoom thing for everybody where we do a whole manifesting sequence, because this is literally about where it's like you're sitting in this space of doubt that it's possible for you. Why isn't it possible for you to get a job? Why aren't you deserving of getting a job? Why do you think you're not valuable enough for that position? It's starting to be like you have to own the belief system of like, of course they need me. When somebody told me, they're like, oh, I was like applied for that and it waited forever. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like that was always my opinion. And in health and medication, healthcare, they need people to work for them. I decided that they just need you and it doesn't matter. There was no couple of months. They were in desperate need. That was my belief system. That's literally how it always showed up. So you have to adopt the energy of like, of course they're going to call me back when you put it in there. Of course they're going to call me back because I am the perfect person for this job. See yourself getting the call back. Do the work. Yes, I do see something coming in. And I actually feel like something within 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to get a notification about something. But you have to stop playing like I don't want to say like you're in victim mode, but it is like this really unempowered space where you're like, can it ever happen to me? Of course it can fucking happen for you. Of course it can. It's like absurd. Of course you're worthy and deserving. Devery did this for how long? And I literally said to her, you've got the job. It's done. Can I tell you? She emailed me afterwards and she's like, I don't know. They're asking all this weird stuff because it's very much her personality to like kind of push stuff away. I love Devery, but like I've seen the pattern, right? And I was like, I mean, call them and ask them. Like, and she's like, I don't even know if I have the job because on the posting it says this and on this it says that. And I said, just reach out to them and ask them. Do I come into work? So it literally has to become a mindset, mind over matter. Like, stop letting this like, oh, I'm here waiting. I'm like this bobbing out in the ocean. Maybe somebody will save me. And show up like a fucking, I don't know, warship. I don't know, coming out of the ocean. Just like without hesitation, without apologies for taking up space. Knowing that you have the training to do, you're qualified. Most jobs, besides like certain very specific, like, you know, being a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or like a police officer, but most jobs you can be trained. I'm convinced that they only want you to have a college degree to see if you'll stick with something for any amount of time. I'm convinced of that. And if you can like follow orders and, turn in assignments, I'm convinced of that. So if that's your belief system, then guess how everything shows up. If you really believe that, you're like, oh, I just feel like that's my main character energy. People don't ever give me an opportunity to show how great of a worker I am. So guess what's going to happen? You're never going to get the fucking opportunity to show anybody that you're a great worker. You're a great worker. That's it. Opportunities are coming my way all the time. Every single day I'm receiving new and greater and more amazing opportunities. People always ask me, like, how do you get so lucky? I don't know. I'm just lucky. I always get opportunities. They are always coming my way. Start adopting that. I started with my kids. We started saying, like, everything works out in our favor. Everything works out best case scenario. And I swear to God, that's how it is now. Because, like, it'll be like, oh, this is scheduled for this date. I'm like, oh, that makes it a little sticky for scheduling for me. And I'm like, whatever. And then stuff will get rearranged to where it's all of a sudden working out in my favor. And like things will come up too. And my daughter, my middle one, who is like most into this, she's like, everything always works out in my favor. Because I'll be like, look, this worked out. When I say manifesting works, manifesting works. So something I just manifested for my daughter who I didn't think it was ever going to change. I was like, it was very, very hopeless for a long time. And then I just decided, no, like this shifted. She allowed me to help her fix this. Like, this is all done. It's taken care of. She's so happy that this was fixed. Like, and like, guess what I manifested? I can't tell you all in detail because it's like very personal for her, but whatever. Like, she was in a space where she just was like, I thought it would never change because she was just so like, she's very rigid in her ways, or she can be very rigid. And so I just decided, like, no, the reality is, the truth is, and it's not anything that's like me manipulating her. It's for her own health and stuff. But, and next thing I want to manifest for her is like equine therapy. Cause she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I think she would really love it. So now I'm just going to manifest it. I'm just going to see us going to equine therapy. So like, when I say things are possible that I thought never were possible, I'm talking things that I thought were never, ever, ever possible have happened. Because I just decided that's the way it was going to show up. And if you're in the mindset like that's not possible, then guess what? That's not possible. I believe everybody deserves everything that they want in life. I believe that everybody deserves happiness. I believe everybody deserves a sense of peace where they don't have to look outside of themselves for validation. It's almost why I've sort of veered away from like where I'm like, I don't know how much I really believe in connecting with guides and stuff anymore. Like, if we are all the divine spark of God, we don't need any of those what do they call them? Intercession. There's something about, I can't think of what it is. We just don't need that. Unless you decide you need it. Hi, Shannon. So these are paid readings. They're $12 a reading, and I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. It does feel like, so here's the thing. It is like exercising a new muscle. And it is like, so when we have thoughts that we have to change, like belief systems that we have to change, it's like this idea of like you were taught piano in Suzuki style. And then all of a sudden, like for years and years, you were playing in Suzuki style. I don't even know exactly what it is. I just know of it because my mom's a piano teacher and she teaches classical style. And she's like, yeah, it's just different, but So it's like if you were taught in that style, then all of a sudden you go to a teacher who's like, no, we're doing we're classically trained. You're going to do it this way. This is how we're starting. So we're going to start all the way over. And it feels weird. And you might drop back into that Suzuki style. So what I'm saying is like, it might feel weird for a while, or like it's hard, like it's work to like reprogram. And guess what it is? But you keep doing it because you're worth it and you deserve it. And it's amazing to be on the other end of it and be like, oh, I don't have to like let that person's opinion of me or feel like I'm not qualified to do something because that person didn't give me permission to be. And also what you realize is you start to be really observant of like, if our thoughts create our reality, like again, well, what inner dialogue is going on there for me when somebody shows up in a way that's counter to what I would like. And also when people are like kind of mean and nasty, I sort of go, oh, I wonder what their inner dialogue is. Saley, these are paid readings. They're $12 a reading. And in the description is a payment, but I'll go ahead and put it here to where my PayPal is. And I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey because food scarcity is real. And we like to help people out. And if there are no more paid readings, if you guys want to do general readings, we can do that. Otherwise, general meaning like current events, what's going on in the world. So Allie, what I would do is, and for anybody who's listening, listen to self-affirmations, listen to self-concept affirmations a lot, and pay attention to what follows I am and decide what follows I am is really important. Okay, Saley, I got it. Okay. So I applied for a clinic director role in a company, but actually I want admin job. I'm going to ask them for the admin job. Do you think they will give it to me? The clinic director role interview was good, and hence I'm worried about broaching the admin job situation. Worried that they won't give me the clinic director role either. I almost don't feel like the admin job is open right now. It feels like maybe in a couple months that'll be open. Like, are they starting to post for it and then the person is leaving in a couple of months? Or had they posted for it after you interviewed? Is it Saley? Did I say that right? I think so. I know there's a delay. Here on. Oh, there you are. I also want to know if did you get did you hear? The admin, right? I got that, but the admin job you were originally asking about in the clinic. Can you answer that for me? Because it's a feeling like that job's not really available yet for a couple of months. So did that job opening come up after you interviewed or after you were asked to interview for the clinic director role? Or is the admin job you're asking about in a completely different company? Because then you're also asking a second question. See how that works. If anybody is caught up while I'm waiting for Sally to catch up, if you guys want to ask general readings, because then I'm going to kind of be done with the in the personal readings. It's a slow day today. I just put an end to them. If you guys have any world event kind of questions. I'm just waiting on you. There you go. What did I think of the debate? I didn't watch the debate. I didn't watch it. I went out. There was a group of moms from, I was a class mom for my first graders, rising second graders class. So a group of the moms went out to eat. So that's what I did. I went out to eat. And I did not watch it. And I just saw little things behind it. And I was like, oh my God. I saw just a couple clips and I was like, I cannot even believe that this is like such an esteemed position people are running for. And these two yahoos who, like, honestly, I'm not happy with Biden for many aspects. A lot of it has to do with what's going on in the Middle East. I'm not happy. Listen, if there's some mental health issues going on and we are not fully there and alert, I don't care what side you're on, you should not have access to the codes and the button. And Trump is just absurd. So yeah, that's that. But again, I already predicted, I think that they're going to have a different candidate in for the Dems. So I think Biden is going to end up stepping down, and I don't feel like Trump is going to be voted in. So everybody's so worried about, like, oh my God, we have to remain united instead of like looking at like really what is the best for the. It's just like they're all being terrible co-parents. Let's just be honest. They're just terrible co-parents. All of them. Every single one of the politicians. Every single one of them is backed by AIPAC. They all need to be out. Any of these, the ability to, I'm waiting for Sally to catch up. Sally, did you catch up to me yet? I think you are way behind in watching this, and I'm waiting for you. It is like choosing which is the least worst. And I'm sorry when people are like, that's why you should vote for RFK. I'm like, a man who admittedly says that his brain was eaten by a parasite. Like, what? No, thank you. Like, I can't. The absurdity of it is, what is going on? Yeah. And as much as like there's Marianne Williamson who can't get on the ticket anywhere in a lot of the places. She's very behind because she's just saying I paid already. She's very behind. So I'm going to have to wait for her to catch up. Yeah, this is just, I've said this for a long time. Allie, you've been here for a long time. 2028, it starts to get a little bit better. Like it just is going to take time. We just have to go through these rough things. But I remember when Trump was running originally against Biden, and I was like, oh, I can see 2028 is 2 women in the White House. I don't know what happens in 2024. And I'm like, logically, that should be Biden, but maybe I couldn't see it just because they switched candidates. Yeah. So I didn't even see a lot of it, but I saw a clip of that, and I saw a clip of something else, and like he was having a hard time finding words. And last week I said it's like he's not mentally there, and I didn't want to say dementia, but that's kind of what it feels like to me. But it's not like Trump feels like he's not all there either. So like we've got these little boys who are like, why are we even talking about golfing? Or Like, let's talk about world events. Let's talk about what's going on in the Middle East. Let's talk about what's going on with like our Supreme Court and how what's going on with women's health rights. What's going on with people where they're saying like, it's illegal to camp. So basically being homeless is illegal now. It's just insane. Oh, the admin jobs are already posted and I just applied for 4 to 5 of them. Okay. So my feeling around the one that's at the same place that you're at where you're like, oh, I want to switch. I do feel like the woman that you interviewed with, it feels like a woman probably in her 40s to 50s, feels like she would be annoyed. And I feel like if she's not Hispanic, I feel like she might be Hispanic because I'm seeing like darker hair, glasses, and she just feels like she's very like kind of rigid in her own mental process. So I don't feel like they will be very happy about you making the switch. I feel like if you worked for a while as the director or whatever the first job was that you get hired for, then making a switch would be easier. But I feel like doing it now, it's like it kerfuffles her too much. Or throws her into kerfuffle. His hair is almost gone because of the lawsuits. That man has been in a lawsuit like forever. Like he is constantly, like, don't kid yourself. That man has constantly been involved in litigation. Like he just loves litigation. He loves just like dragging stuff out, and has forever. Doesn't pay people the way he's supposed to pay them, and knows that they're not going to be able to like keep up with him taking him to court. Like that man he is trash. Trash. So Sally, I feel like now wait, what's the second thing you asked about? Oh, okay, here you are. The admin in the clinic director job is the company near Washington, D.C., and I already interviewed the clinic director role, not knowing that they have plenty of admin jobs when I scheduled the interview. Okay, that's what I was asking. So I feel like, can you drag your bar all the way over to be caught up? It would be helpful. Because I feel like making the immediate shift over to it is just, there's one woman that I feel like it would annoy her and would not bode well. But if you start here, I mean, you can manifest differently too. You can just decide they're going to totally love and realize that like, oh yeah, I am a better fit for the admin job. And so they'd be totally okay with putting me there. But I feel like as is, the energy shows up as being annoyed with you and being a problem. I'm only laughing because your thing just came in about I texted a long time back, and I'm like, yeah. You'll get my answers parceled out, I guess. So the other job, I have to go back up and read about this other job really quick. I also want to know if the Oregon people will get in touch with me for the job. It's an admin job that I would love. Yeah, I actually feel like, interestingly enough, they're going to reach out to you on the 3rd and just say like, but schedule something for you after the holiday weekend. And I actually feel like because with the DC job, they might not even give you an offer until after then anyway. So you're actually pretty okay for that. So I think I'm going to leave you with that. We'll see. See what you say. Hi, Sachin. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I just think people don't really realize. It's like when I do the free readings over on TikTok, I don't guarantee anybody a question, and then like some people be like, and da, 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 and I'm like, that's a private reading you're asking for when you're asking all of those questions. So let's like let other people have a chance. So don't worry about paying the second one. Just Eclectic, these are paid readings, and they're $12 a reading, and 30% goes to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Sachin, these are paid readings. Hi, Shar. Okay. Did you pay on my old account? Did it have a butterfly or did it have my face? If you can make sure from now on out, because I know you've been here before, to pay on the one that I post here in the comments and stuff, just because I'm trying to keep all my business and personal stuff separate. And I've switched over to having just a business account for PayPal, which is this one, which I use for taxes. Make my life easy. Oh, shit. Sorry. I keep clicking the wrong thing here. Okay, just in the future, Shar, don't pay on that one. Pay on the other one, please. My thoughts on spirituality in India. I feel like spirituality anywhere, any religious thing, like the 5,000 years old, I'm always kind of like, really? I think that when you're searching for spirituality, you are oftentimes in a place of really needing outside validation and really being in a place of kind of despair almost when you're in the beginning of it. I feel like because of that, sometimes we get caught up in belief systems that are more fear-based versus ones that are more empowering. And so if you are searching for something, thank you, Sachin. If you are searching for a mentor or a guide, make sure that they're approaching their teachings in a way that empowers you rather than a way that makes you powerless to them, or that makes you feel like you are having to give up things in order, or family or friends in order to be them. Because truthfully, what's interesting is when you start doing spiritual, like when I started doing the self-concept work and like going within, because if God exists within all of us, right? And going within and just really being kind to myself and being, that kind of stuff. Yes, certain relationships fell away, but it's not because somebody forced me to or said like you can't be around them because of they're not good for you, but more so because I came to that conclusion on my own without somebody telling me that. Like where I was like, oh, I don't really like being treated that way. Right? So I don't think it's my place to say this religion is good or bad. I just always feel like be comfortable with exploring and knowing that there's a million different ways to find your connection to source or God or whatever you want to call it. And that the golden rule exists within all spiritual practices. Do unto others as you would do unto yourself. But I will flip that and say, do unto yourself as you would do unto others, because more often than not, especially people who are seeking and feeling lost, they are much, much kinder to the people outside of them than they are to themselves. I don't know anything about astrology, so Yes, eclectic. These are paid readings. So I have my PayPal linked up there. They're $12 for a question, and 30% of that $12 I donate to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. If you follow me on TikTok, on Thursdays, I do free readings there, but you are not guaranteed a reading. Here, you are guaranteed a reading. Called me for my dream admin job, and then they didn't reach back out to set the interview. I was expecting an email from them. Email them. Tell them, you called me for the interview. I did not receive an email. Perhaps there was a mistake, and that's what you can decide. This is just what I was telling Allie earlier. Like, so I feel like there's something around the 3rd. So I don't know if maybe they give you the interview on the 3rd, but I feel like, so call them. Call HR. Call them and just say, hey, I received a phone call and I was supposed to receive an email and I never got it. I was just wondering if something happened, or maybe you had the wrong email or it bounced back. So you might hear from them on the 3rd. I would say call them again. I'd be like, oh, I'm really excited. I just wanted to make sure. I know we're coming into a holiday weekend. Always whenever you're doing it, make it so like recognizing that they're busy. So they're not like, what do you think I am? Like just sitting around waiting for you to do this. Like, I think it's always good to acknowledge, like, I recognize you're busy. I'm really excited. I was really excited about this. This is like, honestly, my dream job, or just, I'm so incredibly interested in this job. Like, show your excitement, recognize their busyness, that you understand that, and maybe something happened, the email bounced back. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure because I was really excited when I got the phone call and I didn't receive an email. Also, double check your spam, but I feel like something happened where it bounced back to them and they didn't get it. So I do feel like you'll have options. All right. If there's any general questions somebody said that they paid, and Shar, what's your question? And then I'm going to be done with private readings, and I'll just do, if there's any general questions about, you're welcome, Saley. If there's any questions about, world events, anything like that, I'm happy to answer those. And I feel like the question about Indian spirituality, I feel like is, a general question about world things that's valuable to everybody and not just you. So Sachin, I don't know if that answered your question about my thoughts on spirituality in India. I think that there's some, also, I feel like I used to like work a lot with different deities and energies and things like that. And now I sort of am in the thing of like, we're all interconnected and all one being. So if you're in a space of a belief system of needing to have an intercession done by another spiritual being, then use it. So if our beliefs create our reality, you can adopt the okay. Right. But I was going to say is like, if you want to, and honestly, I don't want to read about it. Full stop. That's probably the neurodivergence in me. That's like, no. It's not that I'm not interested. It's just that I've done so much, and then I'm like, I had a place of peace that I don't want to delve into any other. But if our beliefs create a reality, which is something I really believe in, I believe we manifest things through our belief systems, not through our thoughts per se, but what our core belief systems are. So if you have a negative thought, you can develop a core belief system. It's like negative thoughts are never create anything for me. I don't like it. I'm really lucky. Those don't seem to have any power. Take away the power. If everything is a belief system, you get to put the meaning in it. So but thank you, Saley, for saying that. I'm kind of like at the space where I did a whole lot of work. I mean, this is not like me just like 2 years in or anything. Like, this is years and years and years of like working with different things, looking at different things, looking at my own belief systems. And finally, like, I'm in a space of like really at peace where I'm at and kind of like, I'm good. Like, There'll be a point maybe where I do, but I don't know. So removing unwanted negative thoughts is working on your self-concept, working on what follows I am. Because when you embody a space of having a good self-concept, then the negative thoughts don't take hold so much. And even when they show up, you're like, no, this is the old belief system in place and I don't have to hold on to it. I didn't say I've reached enlightenment. I just said I've reached a space in my own belief system that I don't feel like I need to continue to seek out other belief systems, right? Sachin, I don't understand what you're writing. Yeah, so I'm not saying like, oh, I'm so enlightened, I'm so above. It's like, but I found a peace within myself that I feel like I'm good with where I'm at in my belief systems as of now. I think that, and I don't ever say like, this is the way you have to believe and don't ever believe anything else and only follow. I'm like, seek out what you want. Do the search of where you're at. I always say with a warning, just make sure that that person's not taking advantage of you. Make sure that that person isn't moving from a place of fear or saying like, this is the only way, because I don't believe there's one way. Do I pray to any God? I have a connection with God. I don't look at it as prayer in the sense of like, please bestow this on me, because I believe God gives everybody everything. I don't know. I don't look at it as like in the Christian religion, it's this idea of like, even though in the Bible it says, ask as if you've already been given it, because God is all powerful, there's still this belief system is like needing to appease. And if God is all powerful and all knowing and all loving, why would they need to be appeased by like little old me? So it is a relationship of love and mutual respect, but it isn't like I'm praying. I have conversations, thoughts, connections, asking questions, seeking advice and wisdom. But it's not like a prayer as in like, please give this to me, please watch over me, because I know I'm watched over and taken care of. And no, I don't pray to Jesus or Buddha. Buddha's not a god. Buddha never saw themselves as like Buddha. In Buddhism, it's about self-actualization, right? Not about a deity status, from what I understood when I took it in college. And I don't pray to Jesus because I don't believe in it in those terms. Again, I don't pray as in like, please watch over me and take care of me, because I know that I'm watched over and taken care of. I know that I am protected. I know that I am safe. I know that the universe has my back. And I don't necessarily feel comfortable in saying God, because I think that invokes a different idea of what man has created that energy to be. And we are all part of source, and source is all part of us. So to me, I look at it as when I need wisdom or guidance, so I did a meditation once and I connected with Yeshua, and the energy of that. But some of my beliefs are a little bit different now. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. but I'm also okay with not being 100% sure. And I think that that's where sometimes I think people get like, it has to be or it isn't, and I can't. And I just think high love is the trend. I just think, I think that if it sits right with your soul, then that's what you should believe. And that's what you should connect with. Like, I don't want to say, like, don't do that because, again, our belief systems create our reality. So, Mary has, a lot of devout following and for a lot of intercession and a lot of love and guidance. And I think if that's what works for people, then they should. I don't connect with that fully. And I think that that's okay too. Like, I don't think it has to be a this or that. I think it can be a this and that and that and that and that. Because there are people who, where I don't connect with a lot of organized religions. And even though I'm a reverend in the spiritualist church, their belief systems aren't connected to there is no sacred text. The rules are kind of like, we can connect with those that have crossed over. There is a higher power, and we are responsible for all of that which we do, all of our actions, good and bad. We are responsible to that. And the golden rule of do unto others as you would do unto yourself. Although I like to say do unto yourself, because again, I think that more often than not, we are much kinder to people outside of us than we are to ourselves. So that's why I never go like, oh, those terrible Christians. Now the ones that are like awful to each other and then like hide behind the religion. Yeah, I've got a problem with that. But I think that whatever works for you works for you. As long as it's not somebody manipulating you or using you and taking advantage of you and, to elevate themselves in some weird way, like a cult would. And I don't believe that you get in trouble with God. Like, I don't see God as being that being. I think it's just, oh, well, you did that. Okay. Like, grow, learn. With my kids, like, I used to parent differently. And now I've sort of learned, like, I really just want to guide them and love them through it. And it's not about punishing them and getting them in trouble. And, it's like, oh, well, like, they hit each other sometimes and they're not always nice to each other. I'm like, well, what happened there? Oh, so you were dysregulated. Oh, well, I can see that was a big feeling there. How might you do that differently next time? So I'm not saying my way is better. I'm saying through my own search, and I encourage other people to do that. So like, if you want to go learn from somebody who says they're 5,000 years old, fine. But I sort of look at that where I'm like, I side eye that because my personal belief system doesn't align with. I'm like, that seems like something that's too odd to me. And I just think when there's a lot of rules in place without ability to have free will, and you live in fear that you're going to do something wrong and anger God, I'm not in alignment with that. Like, everything I've ever found when I followed stuff and I followed in fear of, oh my God, I'm a bad person if I'm not, or, are people going to be praying for my soul? Like, that's never been where God is at for me. I don't believe that God wants us to do anything other than love ourselves. And when we love ourselves, we end up loving others as well and being kind and gentle with others. That's what I really believe. And the rest of it is all just in the wash. I don't think that God cares when I give and I donate, I don't do it because I think God wants me to do it. I do it because I have the extra money to help people out that are in need. And for fuck's sake, if I was hungry and needed help, I would hope somebody would help me. That's it. That's why I do it. I don't do it because it's going to earn me brownie points. I do it because I feel like it's what's right for me to do. Do I think that everybody has to do it? No. I'm not moving from a place of God is going to strike me down if I don't do that. I don't believe that is not the God I follow at all. That is not who I follow or trust, or that's not what protects me. These aren't what protects me. This isn't what protects me. It is a belief system and a connection with a God that I believe, or universe or source that I believe is, in fact, all loving. And so has space to hold for all of us in all of our imperfections, whatever that may be. And if you choose to follow one that's based on another religion, because that's what fits in alignment with your belief system, go do it. Do it with joy and love. But like when people say like, what's my purpose? That just drives me nuts, because I think you're going to spend a whole lifetime feeling not enough based on a belief system that somebody else created to sell a fucking book. Hiya, Yama. And I don't know, makes me sad. Oh, I got it. Is this, I got 5 minutes ago. I have 2 questions paid for, but for initials B, starting with B for the first name. Is that you? Wait, I think that is yours. Yes, that is yours. Okay, so I have 2 questions for you. And then I'm not taking any more personal readings, please. I was just chatting and somebody was asking what I believed, and that's what I believe. And so laugh at me if you want, because I don't want to read about another religion or belief system because I found some peace. I don't care. I think it's great if other people want to do that, and that's what you're searching for. I just feel like for me, I'm at peace. I'm not even worried if God knows. Like, that's the thing. Like, I have enough security. Like, it's like, I just do it because like, I think that when you're moving with like, I need somebody else to know, God or otherwise, I don't care. I don't do it for that. I do it because I feel like I want to do that. I do it because I grew up poor and my mom qualified for earned income tax credit. Like, we did not have money. We qualified for free food, and people need assistance. And there are people in our government where we have an insane amount of money that we send towards creating a war machine in the industrial military complex. And yet we have states that are saying like, well, no, we can't give food to children over the summer and during the school year. But we also love children so much, we can't allow abortions. Like, it is fucking mind-blowing to me. So I give because I believe people deserve to receive, and I don't feel like they have to earn it. That's my belief system. So I don't have to recruit you. If you want to get readings here, great. You ask my belief systems, but I don't usually talk about what my belief systems are other than self-concept and manifesting. I'm going to answer 2 more questions and then I will be up. Okay, my love bug? What do you need?
2?
Yes, just 2 more questions. Pinky promise. I don't want you to, because there are people from all over the world here right now. So thank you so much. Nope. Vaya con Dios. I love you so much.
I love y'all too.
I see you soon.
See ya.
Okay. Shar. Okay. Oh, yes, Shar. I'm sorry. 3 more questions, but let's not tell her that. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. You're welcome, Allie. A psychic trying to control and possess you. What? Oh, no. If you have the belief system that that's possible, then it is. And if you don't, then you don't. Amazon delivery. Okay. Ayama, I got you for 2, and Shar, I have you for 1. And then I'm not doing any more readings. So I've got Shar for 1, and then Ayama for 2, and then that's it. I'm done. Okay, love is the trend. If you can come back next week, that'd be fabulous. Okay, Shar, a general reading for the next 6 months. That is big for 1 question reading. Hang on. Sorry. I just heard a little beep like the door opened. Maybe I didn't. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So one thing I got on you, Shar, are you feeling a lot of tension here in your neck and shoulders? And I'm not to be like the bearer of bad news or anything else like that. I don't think anything terrible is going to happen, but I do feel like your health is going to be your main focus over the next 6 months. Like, um, it's a feeling of like having ignored a lot of stuff for a very long time and sort of now focusing on it. Cause I feel like I've ignored so much for so long that my body is now kind of out of a whack where I have to focus on it. Like I'm no longer able to not. So like maybe now I'm being diagnosed as pre-diabetic, whereas like maybe I didn't feel well for a while. And it's like now, so I feel like I really over the next months, I'm really focusing on my own health and well-being. And this includes like, again, mental health and stuff like that. You're trying to get your health in order. Yeah. So I feel like over the next 6 months, that's literally what you're going to be focusing on. So it's like, yes, you go to work, yes, things happen, but I feel like my main focus is putting myself first, putting my health first, and not feeling guilty about like putting like, because I do feel like you have a habit of being a people pleaser and like putting other people first. So to me, it feels like over the next 6 months, that's where your focus is really looking at your health. I do feel like you're going to have a nice turnaround by the end of that 6 months. 8 months feels like when you would go back for like follow-up appointments and things like that, where you'll see the actual numbers turn around. Yeah. I feel like some of that's inflammatory from just I don't want to say like diet, but it feels like there's stuff in your diet that's creating a lot of inflammation. I also feel like you're low on your vitamin D and B12. And I feel like though the B12 will kind of turn around once you get your D up to where it needs to be. And welcome whoever is here. Hello. All right. Ayama, what are your 2 questions? Oh, still thinking about moving closer to family, either Illinois or Colorado. Any insight of what is best and when? You're very welcome, Shar. I feel like it's going to end up being Illinois. And I genuinely feel like there's 2 parts that I feel like it's financial, but I also feel like there's a health issue with a family member where they're going to need a little bit more care or assistance. So it's moving that way to be because you'll be of more assistance there. I feel like you'll start making talks and moves for that like in August. I don't see the actual move, but I feel like starting to plan in August, like seeing that forward movement happening in August. I almost feel like by the end of the year, you'll probably be moved or either moved or have like solid plans for moving at the beginning of next year, which sounds terrible to move to the Midwest in the wintertime. But I think you'll be okay. And for anybody who I didn't like when I was like giving you the manifestation and mindset stuff, it's because that's where they're really leading me to be like, this is a mindset, self-concept stuff that needs to be fixed more than anything. Ayama, what's your other question? This curl is like, yeah. Are you still here, Ayama, or are you delayed? Ayama, what's your second question? Ayama. Oh. Ayama, are you here? Oh man. Does anybody else have like a general question while I wait? Either that I'm going to email Ayama and ask her what her second question is so you're not staring at watch me stare at the screen waiting for this to pop up. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is just email her for her second question. I hope that you all have a wonderful week. And if you celebrate 4th of July, happy 4th of July to you all. And if you don't, enjoy your week. May the universe be ever in your favor with everything that happens to you. I will see you next week, and pretty sure. Have a good one.